Hello and welcome to this tutorial video on WormsPy. So at this point you should have your system set up. So to get started, you're just going to want to go and navigate to the Saber launcher and make sure that that's running. This is the application that we're going to be using to communicate with the motors. To launch WormsPy, you want to navigate to your folder that you've downloaded from the GitHub, and there you will see startwormspy.bat. To start the software, double click this. At this point, you're going to want to make sure that all of your cameras and everything are set up. You can start your lighting conditions for your worms, whatever you're imaging. Once you're ready, you can just press any key to continue. It's now going to launch a local server on your machine, which you can navigate to in your browser by going to localhost 5000. We're operating in dev build here, but in either case, you want to select your cameras and click Start Live Feed. It's going to take a couple of seconds for the camera feeds to load in. Now at this point, you can click Enable Manual Mode, and you'll be able to use the controller to move the stage in the XY direction and track the worm. You can also use the other joystick to control the Z axis to align the focus. And what is very helpful to find the right focus is actually to use the heat map function, which you can activate with the button in the bottom right. And this will allow you to visualize your fluorophores much better, allowing you to make sure you're in focus. Now there are three different tracking algorithms built into WormsPy: a threshold bright tracking, fluorescent marker tracking, and deep lab cut tracking. But first we are going to want to rename our file name, make sure that the directory path is correct. So this is a pansensory neuron strain, so we'll call it pansensory1. Align our worm back in the field of view, and then when we're ready, we can click Start Recording. And the recordings of both of these video feeds are frame synced, meaning we can directly compare frames between behavior on the left and fluorescent activity on the right. So when we're happy with our recording, we can just click Stop Recording, and we will find the files in whatever directory we've specified. You'll see there's a new folder there with our file name containing a folder of TIFFs of our fluorescent image. These are 16-bit for maximum dynamic range. We'll also have an AVI video of our left camera for behavior, and lastly a CSV file which has saved all of the motor commands that were sent to the stage. And finally here we see a demonstration of using the bright background threshold-based tracking algorithm. In our case we are using a scikit image technique, so we are sort of tracking the averaged centroid of the worm, which prevents some of the smaller adjustments the motors need to make. There's also a dark background thresholding technique for tracking fluorescent markers included, as well as deep lab cut. All of these techniques may require some modification to apply them to your use case. But yeah, that's all for WormsPy, and I hope you find it useful.